2 years.
Okay, so we're gonna see how this chat works. Um, hopefully it recognizes YouTube. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, but we're gonna see. This is what I meant by, like, I don't know how to switch the chat from bottom to top to bottom. So I guess we're just gonna let it do its thing for now. Also, yes, the chat box is back. Oh my god. Can we believe it? Oops. The chat box is in fact back now. While we try to test out the Streamlabs chat box. And hopefully it'll recognize YouTube, even though I did not see that as an option as platforms, so maybe I fucked it up and did it wrong. I don't know how to do this anymore, guys. I'm not technologically able to do this no more anymore. I've lost my ability to be technologically smart. But hello, Serenity. Hello, Flord. Hello, Minokalu. Congratulations, Serenity, on 2 years. Oh my god, 24 months. Holy crap. Thank you for supporting me for so long. But yes, happy class consciousness Christmas. I found a wonderful video. Well, not found. I was just recommended it because I'm subscribed to Drew Gooden. And if you're not subscribed to Drew Gooden, you should subscribe to Drew Gooden. He makes great content. I've been following him for quite a while. Can verify that he's a good egg. And his most recent video, I think, is probably puts into words a lot of things that I've been feeling this past year. Things that I've wanted to try to vocalize, but I don't know, or I'm not educated enough to vocalize, and I don't have the research to back it up. It's just like a feeling that I've had. And I think like this maybe might be a feeling that some of y'all have had also. I think it's something we should all watch together. I've watched it already, but I think it's worth watching together again. Because of how important I think the message is. Wait, let me... Is this big enough? No, this is not big enough. I hate it when they crop it like this. I don't know how to crop it like this. Oh gosh, okay, hold on. Ooh, watch streak! Congratulations on the watch streak! Good achievement, good achievement. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna crop the video. And then we'll just make that bigger. There, that works. Oh yeah, I went to go grocery shopping today because I was like trying to pick up. I've been trying to make miso soup on my own these days. It's not just miso soup either. It's like chicken curry. I was trying to make Japanese chicken curry, but I forgot to take the chicken out, and so I ended up just eating instant noodle today. Oh yeah, how was your Thanksgiving, guys? That was last week, was it not? While I'm moving this stuff around. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had really good, yummy foods. Meow. Is that what turkeys sound like? Is that how turkeys are now? Okay. Wait, no. So we can switch over And then I'm gonna pause the music. I paused it at a very bad time in the video. Sorry, Drew. But yeah, we're gonna watch a video that Drew made. If you don't know him, go subscribe to him, Drew Gooden. He made a really good video today, and this is very relevant to the Happy Class Consciousness Christmas, because we love starting off Christmas with class consciousness. And I'm glad that he actually made this video and did a lot of research behind it and made it in a way that it was like entertaining. So it's like, it's a very accessible video that I feel like I'm going to be sending to everyone I know. Just to be like, I'm not just imagining this, right? Like, we all feel this. Like, it's not just me who feels like I'm going crazy sometimes. Being like, so there is a problem, right? We all know there's a problem, but no one's talking about it, kind of thing. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna skip to the beginning, and we're gonna watch it together.
I feel like for the past 3 years,
Sorry for
I've
the
heard over
audio.
and over again that a recession is about to hit. The stock market is going to crash. The housing prices are going to come back down to earth any day now. And yet somehow all of these things keep not happening. And for most people, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean the economy's good? My dentist just tried to get me to sign up for a credit card. Since the pandemic, the cost of living has skyrocketed. Inflation is out of control. Groceries have never been more expensive. Layoffs are happening at an alarming rate. At this point, a college degree might be more likely to get you into crippling debt than it is to help you find a job. And even if you have savings, you're more than likely one stroke of bad luck away from losing it all to medical bills. And yet some people will look you right in the eyes and tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. The numbers are green. Is this guy stupid? The problem is each of these people are kind of correct in their own way. This is the best the economy has ever been if you already have money. If you bought a house 5 years ago, there's a chance it's already doubled in value.
So true, Queen.
If you invested in the S&P 500 in 2021, you could be up as much as 80%. And that's not like saying, you know, you'd be rich if you just bought Bitcoin in 1973. That's just the regular stock market. You didn't need to have some genius level of foresight to be able to do that. You just needed to already have a bunch of cash sitting around. And obviously for the overwhelming majority of people, that is not the case. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not thinking about the stock market. If you're in your 20s, you haven't even been working long enough to save any money to invest. You don't get to benefit from rising home equity if you don't own a house. The only thing this graph represents to you is how much further away that dream is getting. Right now, the average age of home buyers is 59 years old.
That's
What
too
a
old.
depressing statistic.
That's too
This is the
old.
problem with an economy that disproportionately benefits asset holders instead of the people still trying to earn them. Wealth grows exponentially, but wages aren't even outpacing inflation, which means if your salary hasn't been going up every year, you're effectively making less money. Meanwhile, the fastest way to make $1 million is to just already have 10
Oh yeah,
million.
easy
Leave it in an
peasy, right? Let's
investment
just have
account for a
10
year, and
million.
congratulations, you now have $11 million. At a larger scale, this is why it feels like there's two different economies happening and they're both moving in opposite directions. 50% of the stock market is owned by the top 1%, and only 1% is owned by the bottom 50%. Don't let somebody tell you that these numbers going up should discredit your own lived experience. Don't let somebody who's benefited from untaxed inheritance or years of compound interest granting them passive income tell you that your problem is you're just not working hard enough. No, the real answer is, sorry, you should have been born sooner.
Oh, no, I'm
Have you thought about
cognizant
that?
of
Maybe
it.
instead of wasting all that time farting around kindergarten class, you should have been investing in real estate. It's not my fault you're lazy. People are getting squeezed in every direction while also being gaslit
I'll put
into
the link
thinking
in
that
the
it's somehow
description
our
also.
fault. There's CEOs in earnings calls bragging about how they get to make customers pay for inflation so they don't have to. The economy sucks ass for most people right now. The only reason we're not technically in a recession is because the GDP is still going up. But the only reason the GDP is still going up is because of the AI industry. But the only reason that even looks as good as it does is because a handful of companies are just like passing money back and forth. But there's no recession.
Shout out to that Hank Green
You're
video who
hallucinating.
explained
Because
that
the AI
chart.
industry is now single-handedly propping up the entire global economy, there's really only two paths forward. Worst case scenario, turns out it is all bullshit. The bubble pops in spectacular fashion, trillions of dollars of investments cannot get paid out, and everything goes up in flames. Or best case
Yay!
scenario, a few billionaires get
Flames!
even richer. Wait, is that what we're hoping for? All right, you're gonna have to bear with me while I go on another AI rant here. I know I do this like every
More
6 months,
AI
but
rants.
It's not going
More.
well. It doesn't count as beating a dead horse if
And
the
it's
horse
worse
is
than
still
we
alive.
thought.
We got to kill that horse first. People largely do not like AI and are worried about the future it imposes. It's currently being used to make a bunch of promises that almost no one asked for. The main appeal of it comes from corporations who see advancements in AI as a way to further reduce their dependence on human labor. The only thing cheaper than outsourcing jobs is just eliminating them altogether. The wet dream that soils the sheets of every CEO is a company that's somehow run entirely on its own, and they can just sit back and collect all the profits for themselves. No more.
Also, I do want to point out that every single time I've heard of someone who's been for AI, it has 100% always been from my friends who are working at companies, and they're saying it's my CEO. I've never heard of anything been so specifically targeted, where the only people who have this weird cult-like love for AI has specifically been from CEOs. And I've heard it from all industries, from friends working in every single industry. It has only been specifically CEOs who are and I'm saying this is insane. I'm talking people who are using Slack as a way to communicate and do message stuff in the workplace. It's every single month someone said, oh, my CEO just posted a huge letter either on their blog or in Slack as an announcement saying what their plan is in replacing everything with AI, or how they want to integrate AI with it. And this has only been specifically CEOs. Everyone else has always been yeah, that's not a good idea. Can we think that maybe a couple more times before you make a decision like that? And these are people who are close to CEOs, who are just regular average workers, from all sorts of levels. Everyone's just hey, can you maybe take a second again and rethink that? And every time the CEOs had to roll back on their message and be you know what? Hold on. Actually, some of them don't even really apologize for it. They just kind of be okay, maybe we're not ready for it now, but let's prepare for it later. So they won't even give up on it. They have this, it has this stone grip on their throat or something. AI's holding a gun to their head, being you have to go be for it or not, or you're dead. I don't get it. I seriously don't get it, but it was almost this weird phenomenon that's just spreading across CEOs and I'm probably late to say this right now. This is probably something that's already been happening, and I'm late to the whatever. I'm just throwing in my 2 cents, and I'm saying that from my personal experience, from the people who I know, the people who are working jobs and stuff, some of them who are high up in companies and whatever, it is across the board ridiculous how the pattern is. It's always the CEO who's putting out a letter. It's either LinkedIn or Slack or just a company-wide email. And it's so weird, because now when Drew brings this up, I'm oh yeah, what is up with that? It really was just them only, no one else. And everyone else just kind of has to, oh, the CEO wants to include AI in this and AI in that. And they're being forced to use it. It's weird. It is weird.
Dealing with pesky labor laws or health insurance, or can I have Saturday off? My family died. No! Shut up. That's the eventual goal, and why they're all pouring billions of dollars into NVIDIA chips and data centers and cool shirts for Mark Zuckerberg. And in the meantime, we're stuck with ChatGPT, a humanized Google search designed to affirm whatever belief you share with it, even if it's incredibly dangerous.
Oh, also they're adding ads to ChatGPT, I heard. I saw a post on Reddit that's they're adding ads to ChatGPT. They're experimenting with ads in ChatGPT. And I was this is ridiculous. But it's even more ridiculous for the people who've apparently there's this whole phenomenon of people who have legitimately found quote unquote love with their ChatGPT AI bot. And I'm what? what are they gonna do now? They're like, what? Like, this is gonna be like that Black Mirror episode where their girlfriend is gonna be like, oh, I love you, but have you also considered buying 2% milk from Cisco over in whatever store at Walmart? 2% off right now. You can go get, like, that's what are they going to do when it just starts being implemented in the middle of regular ass conversations? That's so weird. Banner ads or ads like ChatGPT will start sneaking ads in what they will. It sounds like it's both banner ads and also ads within the text, within the answers. Which, I mean, that's horrific. That's absolutely horrific.
Or generative video apps that are already being used to trick people into thinking something happened that didn't actually happen. Awesome technology.
I'll go find the link for that, actually.
And I think the best thing we can do to fight back against AI is to simply not engage with it. The problem is, even if you don't use these tools, if you live in certain parts of the country, you might be paying for them. There's been a lot of really good investigative journalism done on all these new data centers that are popping up around the country. Who's funding them and who's getting screwed over in the process. For example, some residents in New Jersey who noticed that their power bill kept going up, even though they were actually using less electricity than usual. Well, it turns out it's due to an overall supply cost. Basically, when the total amount of electricity usage in an area goes up, power companies tend to pass those higher costs onto their customers. And for the past several years, electricity usage has been skyrocketing, with over half of that increase coming solely from data centers. Your utility bill is going up because Elon Musk wants to pretend.
This is insane, by the way. This is insane.
Just exist in some theoretical
like,
space.
What do you mean utilities bills are going up? Because they're spreading that energy across to people who aren't even, like, why is it going to people who have nothing to do with the AI servers? Why is it going to them? Why isn't it going back to the companies? That makes no sense.
It has to be trained on trillions of gigabytes of data, and that data has to be stored in a physical location. To power this, it requires an absurd amount of electricity, which generates an absurd amount of heat, which then requires an absurd amount of water to cool off. Most of these buildings use over 1 million gallons per day, roughly the equivalent of 10,000 people. This would be even more problematic if they were being built in areas where water is extremely scarce. So we should be good as long as we don't build a bunch of them in, like, the middle of the desert. Whoops. But to be fair, they are extremely efficient about it. They don't just use the water, they also poison it. Every part of this process is wasteful and destructive, and this is only the beginning. AI is still a relatively new phenomenon, so we're only just starting to see the effects of this. But the Department of Energy projects that the percentage of electricity used by data centers could nearly triple in just the next 3 years. And who gets to pay for it? We do. It's hard for me to accurately express how infuriating this is. The giant buildings that power this stupid fucking technology are being subsidized by people who just happen to live near them. Oh, but hold on, because they're technically contributing to the operating costs. So does that mean that they get to share in the eventual profits? No, of course not. They're more like involuntary investors doing it for free, or really worse than free, because a lot of them are being kept awake at night by the deafening hum endlessly emitting from the factory shoved into the backyard of their homes that have now surely plummeted in value as a result. But hey, at least they're doing all of this to make a product that hopes to replace 80% of humanity. It's not enough that these people already own everything they could ever want. They could so easily afford to pay for these things without even noticing that that money is gone. But why would they do that when they could simply have poor people pay for it instead? Because nothing will ever be enough for them. You know, when a rich person makes some shady deal to screw over the working class, people will joke that they just need that money to buy their 4th yacht. And like, I don't even think it's that. They could buy 1,000 yachts and still not run out of money. They don't want to spend their wealth. wealth, they just want it to get bigger. It's the same obsession with seeing number go up that keeps me addicted to old school RuneScape, except the only life that's ruining is my own. What they have is a disease. They have been scourged with the blight of insatiable greed, cursed to an endless pursuit of wealth that will never bring them true happiness. I would almost feel bad for them if they weren't actively destroying the world in the process. One of the most frustrating things about this problem is that if you even try to suggest that maybe these guys should just have a little bit less money, like you guys can still be rich, whatever, just turn it down a notch because you're kind of making shit terrible for everybody else, you're treated like you're crazy. No, this is the American way. If you don't like it, then leave. And yet these ideas aren't radical. They're not even new. Most people who advocate for a more progressive tax system are only calling for a return to something that used to exist in this country. We just forgot about it. So I think it's important to do a little history lesson here.
If you can believe it, there was a
Wait,
time
I
where
will
the
say this
working
is the
class in
part.
this
This is the
country-
part where it was useful for me because I will admit, I've forgotten about this. I did not know that this was a thing that has happened before. And he'll mention it later in the video. He said this is only 70 years ago, which I was like, wait, I thought this was going to be like, I don't know, back in the 1980s or the 1970s or 60s or whatever. No, it's literally only just 70 years ago. That's not that long.
actually had it really good, and it was mostly because things got so bad during the Great
I
Depression
think this
that the
helps. This
government
video was really
worried
well
about the
researched, I
country
think.
collapsing. Thousands of banks had closed, millions of people lost their entire life savings, unemployment peaked at 25%. So in fear of a revolution happening, the government was like, all right, fine, we'll give you livable wages. Just please put that musket down. I don't like the way you're looking at me. So the New Deal was born, and with it came Social Security, better labor standards, the right to unionize, a national minimum wage, an 8-hour workday. And over the next 2 to 3 decades, America became the most prosperous country on earth. Productivity skyrocketed and wages rose with them. Extra profits weren't just redistributed to employees, but
Oh,
their
maybe my
employers
math is
were
bad.
proud to
Listen,
do
I
it.
needed
They would
this
brag
video,
about
okay?
how lucrative it was to work for them. Look, 37% of profits went to our employees last year because this is a
Even
team
more than
effort,
ever, I
and
need
we
this
win,
video.
they win. In 1943, Johnson & Johnson puts out this mission statement that's like, here's our list of priorities.
Oh,
in order.
1940s
Customers,
was
number
when it
one,
was
we gotta
good,
make
okay.
products. Employees, number
Damn, I
2,
didn't hit
everyone
far
who works
enough.
here needs to feel valued and respected. Our community, number 3, we all want to live in a better world, and as a company of our size, we feel like it's our responsibility to contribute to that however we can. And finally, all the way at the bottom, our shareholders can just have whatever's left. Of course, we need to make a profit to survive and grow, but that should just come naturally as a byproduct of focusing on these 3 tenets.
Can you imagine a
Compared to
company
modern
coming out and
corporate
actually caring about their
standards, this is
employees?
all
That's
such
crazy.
a foreign concept that it almost sounds like it's coming from a fictional universe. But this actually happened. This was just America 70 years ago. Now, during this time, what do you think the tax rate was on the wealthiest Americans? For reference, in 2025, the highest income tax bracket is supposed to be around 24%, but because of how many ways there are to circumvent the rules, it often ends up being as little as 3%. For someone like Elon Musk, who doesn't take a salary from Tesla and instead just owns a large percentage of its stock, as long as he doesn't sell any of that stock, then technically there's no income to tax him on. Now, he can still leverage the value of those stocks to make purchases, you know, like how money works, but it's still not taxable because of the rules. This is how people like him and Jeff Bezos can be, in terms of net worth, 2 of the richest people on the planet, and in some years pay $0 in taxes. In the middle of the 20th century, the tax rate on the ultra wealthy was not 3% or 20% or even 50%. It was between 70 and 94%.
Tax them
Honestly,
more.
sounds crazy, but even a lot of the people being taxed understood that it was necessary for society to continue to exist. And having a strong middle class was a crucial investment into the future of the country. But I don't know, man. I just think it's kind of interesting that during what's referred to as the golden age of capitalism, the government did a bunch of socialism. During the period of time that birthed the idea of the American dream, the government was taxing the absolute shit out of the richest Americans and using that money to provide jobs and welfare programs for everybody else.
As
A
they
single-income
should.
household working a regular ass job could afford to start a family, buy a house, send their kids to college, and retire at a reasonable age. No wonder people who grew up then gush about capitalism the way they do, because for them, It was great. But at this point, it is disingenuous to use that time period as the example for why capitalism works, because that version of it stopped existing a long time ago. The generation of people who started as beneficiaries of a more equitable system changed the rules once the roles were reversed and they had the power. So what the hell happened? Everything was going great. What changed? Well, there were a lot of things, obviously, but one of the first big dominoes was the US's involvement in the Vietnam War, which was expensive and deadly, but to be fair, also accomplished nothing. And this had long-term ramifications. America had been diverting so much money away from manufacturing and towards defense that it opened the door for other growing industrialized countries to surpass them. More and more products were becoming cheaper to import than they were to produce. This led to factories getting shut down, unemployment starting to creep back up. A recession hits, and we're now facing a pivotal fork in the road in the late 70s. Either we could go back to what worked in the past, prioritize the working class, reinvest into our own infrastructure, try to help lift people out of poverty they've fallen into through no fault of their own. Or we say, fuck the government. We don't owe you shit. We're stupid, isn't that right? I don't even know my own name. Exactly. The deal is you pay taxes and we don't do anything. And you like that, right? They like that? Sounds good to me. The prevailing philosophy throughout the 80s became trickle-down economics. The logic being, oh man, these rich people are really handcuffed. You know, I bet if we lower the
Thank you for the lurk, Gore.
Still lurking stuff, you're a Gore is the way.
Then
I don't even know how many years
all
is
that
in
extra
57
money
months.
to pay their employees more. I mean, if there's one thing we know about rich people is that they're always looking out for the little guy. Now, for some reason,
4.75.
this hasn't worked out yet, but it's only been 55 years.
70 years.
See, I would argue
Thank
that
you
part of the
for
reason why
4.75
companies in the 40s
years.
and 50s were so generous with their extra profits was because the tax rate was so high. I mean, think about it. If you're faced with the decision between giving a huge chunk of money to the government or redistributing it back to the employees who helped you earn it in the first place, you would be much more likely to do the latter because it's an investment in your own company. It's a mutually beneficial exchange. Well-compensated workers are proven to be more loyal and more productive, and those are two things that you want. Now, there were other factors as well, loosening a lot of anti-monopoly regulations, the legalization of stock buybacks, but this dramatically lower tax rate is a big reason why the 80s serves as the dividing line on just about every economic graph you could look at. This was the beginning of a long and continuous transfer of wealth from the working class to the top 1%. And while it would be very easy to just blame all of this on then President Reagan, that would only be mostly true. Sure, this new approach opened the door for more exploitation and greed, but you still needed a few scumbags willing to go through that door for the evolution to be complete. And nobody sprinted through it faster than one man. The real-life cartoon villain who designed the blueprint that most modern CEOs
This one I
are
did not
still
know about.
following to this day. His name was Jack Welch, and he's often referred to as the man who broke capitalism. During his tenure as CEO of General Electric, he turned the once quintessential American company that reshaped people's lives and supplied hundreds of thousands of high-paying jobs all across the country into a worthless carcass and a joke of a corporation, all while he became one of the richest people on the planet. In the century before Jack Welch took the reins, GE invented things like X-ray machines, jet engines, TVs, radios, and just about any kitchen appliance you can think of. In the 1980s, Jack invented laying people off. That was his big idea. What if we just fire a bunch of people? And then we don't have to spend as much money. It seems so simple and obviously very commonplace today, but before Jack, companies were not doing this. It was almost seen as un-American to fire somebody unless you absolutely had to. But Jack didn't think like everybody else. He was a pioneer. He bravely instituted the rank and yank system, where every year the bottom 10% of employees would get laid off no matter what. Not because they all deserved to be fired, but just because they fell on the wrong side of a spreadsheet. What's that? You were 3 years away from retirement and now you no longer qualify for pension? Okay. Then die. And to be clear, the layoffs were also not because the company wasn't profitable. It very much was, but it just wasn't profitable enough. See, when you routinely shut down entire facilities, you uproot thousands of lives, you create a toxic and selfish work environment where loyalty is replaced with fear, and if you're a company with the size and influence that GE had at the time, you can almost single-handedly destroy any semblance of a middle class across all of America. But this number gets a little bit bigger. So it's kind of a fair trade. GE was at the forefront of this countrywide philosophical transition from an economy that cared about making things and rewarding the labor it took to do so, to an economy that only cared about shareholder value and would prioritize anything it could to make that number go up. But the thing about the stock market is it's mostly just about perception. As long as something seems to be growing in value, then people will be more likely to invest in it, which will in turn
Just like
cause
GameStop.
it to be more valuable, even if it shouldn't be. A lot of what Jack did during his time as CEO did not make the company better, but it did make it bigger. And in the eyes of Wall Street, that was all that mattered. I mean, come on, a business that relies on something boring like selling products can only grow so much. But a company that's constantly acquiring other companies simply has no ceiling. I mean, they could be worth infinity dollars when you think about it. So that's what they did. Over the next few decades, GE bought and sold hundreds of companies, and Jack was lauded for his brilliance because from the outside, everything seemed to be working. I mean, sure, they were becoming a bloated, nonsensical hodgepodge of unrelated businesses, eroding the company's infrastructure and prioritizing constant quarterly gains over any long-term sustainability, but no one gives a shit because the stock price has never been higher. They've stumbled upon an infinite money glitch. They're just alchemizing value out of thin air. It gets to a point where the company founded by Thomas Edison doesn't even make their own light bulbs anymore. It's cheaper to get them somewhere else. Who cares? All they care about now is their ballooning financial division. They're issuing high interest loans. They become a massive holder of subprime mortgages, a famously good investment to make in the early 2000s. Literally whatever it took to juice the numbers, that's what they would do. After about 30 years of short-term decisions that received instant gratification from shareholders but were gradually
Yeah, why
making
can't
things
we
worse
use
for
the
company
infinite
and
money
its dwindling
glitches?
number
It's
of
because we're not
employees.
rich enough,
GE had become
unfortunately.
severely overvalued. And it wasn't until right after Jack retired with his $400 million severance package where his successors stepped in and were like,
Wait, this doesn't make any sense.
the time bomb Jack planted explodes in their faces, and GE spends the next 20 years slowly bleeding out. And at this point, they couldn't fall back on just like selling microwaves because they'd been cutting corners on production so long that nobody wanted to buy any of their shitty garbage anymore. And of course, they had fallen way too far behind on innovation because they spent all their money on acquisitions instead of research. By 2021, the company that helped bring electricity to America was mercifully laid to rest, split into 3 separate institutions, none of which have come close to the dominance or influence that GE once had over the American economy. But here's the thing. You know who isn't affected at all by the cataclysmic downfall of General Electric? Jack Welch, because he's dead now. He already got to live his entire
I hope he's suffering.
without ever having to
I don't
deal
even
with
care
the
anymore. I hope he's
caused
suffering
by
in
his
hell.
actions. He took control of a building with a rock-solid foundation and just kept scrapping it for parts until the only thing left for it to do was collapse under its
Like,
own
this
weight.
is
But by that
insane.
point,
No
he was long gone. I believe
consequences.
that this is the goal of those who now follow in his footsteps. They don't need to care about whether or not what they're doing is harmful or unsustainable. As long as the facade can be maintained long enough for them to reap the rewards, it doesn't matter that the ship is sinking behind them because they have a lifeboat. It doesn't matter that America spent the past 60 years exporting all its jobs and decimating the economies of small towns all across the country because a few hundred people responsible for those things already got to live long, happy lives. They don't give a shit.
This cutthroat corporate culture that Jack pioneered is still seen all around us today, and through the magic of time, it's only getting worse. CEOs make $1,000 every second, while their employees have to piss in water bottles so they don't fall behind. Routine layoffs, regardless of if a company is even struggling, are so normalized that it's just something we've come to expect. The stock market rules the world. Every major decision is dictated by this inherently volatile and short-sighted metric, and look at where that's gotten us. Millions without jobs, an enshittification epidemic, and a concentration of wealth that should be seen as a threat to humanity. Even while owning everything, billionaires live in fear of losing it, so they weasel their way into politics, they influence elections, they buy policy changes, they use their wealth to reshape the world to benefit them even further. They try to control narratives by buying up news outlets, they can dictate what's on our social media feeds, they spend an enormous amount of resources on pitting us all against each other so we're too distracted to see that the real problem is them.
Should the human race survive,
Everything kind of sucks right now.
That
and as a
silence
result,
was
most
crazy.
people are justifiably pretty angry. But for media outlets and politicians, that anger is their single most powerful tool because they can tell you where to direct it. And they don't even really care who it is, so long as it's not them. That's why it changes all the time. Sometimes it's trans people, sometimes it's immigrants. Most recently, it's been poor people. There's been this whole war going on over food stamps because when the government shut down, 42 million Americans lost access to SNAP benefits. Now that's an objective piece of information, an inarguable statistic, but depending on how it's presented to you, it may lead you to draw a drastically different conclusion than somebody else. For some, it might put into perspective how dire the situation has gotten. Like surely there's underlying issues with a system that's allowed 12% of its population to be unable to afford food. Alternatively, you might hear that and think, wait a minute, my tax dollars are paying for these greedy freeloaders? I'm busting my ass over here to barely make ends meet, and these leeches are using my money to buy cookies? That's not fair. And all it takes is highlighting a story or two of someone taking advantage of the system to make you think there's this rampant issue, that you're expected to feed all of these people with money you barely have enough of to feed yourself. This narrative has been used since the 70s because it's very effective. You work hard, they're lazy, this program is bad. It's easier than ever now to push this narrative because you can just AI generate a video of a fat lady screaming in Walmart and get everyone pissed off. But in order to properly analyze this, let's take a look at the data. First of all, SNAP only makes up about 1.5% of the overall federal budget. Less than 1/8 of what we spend on defense and 1/8 of what we spend just on interest on the debt that we owe. By my math, cutting this program would only save the average taxpayer a couple $100s a year. And of course, that's assuming that if they were to cut it, they would send you a refund in the mail. No, I'm pretty sure they would still take the same amount, but instead of reinvesting it into the economy, which is what SNAP ultimately does, they would just buy some more missiles or send a pile of cash to Argentina. Second of all, by definition, the majority of SNAP recipients fall under the umbrella of elderly, disabled, veterans, full-time caretakers, or just temporarily unemployed. Remember, not everybody who isn't working does so because they don't want to. It is very hard to find and keep a job right now. The fact that SNAP spending ebbs and flows so closely with the overall state of the economy should be proof that this program is primarily used for temporary relief. Even still, many of the people on SNAP do work, and about 70% of the ones that do work full-time. That doesn't seem like a laziness problem, that seems like a wage problem. They need supplemental income to survive because of how little they're being paid. Of those full-time employees, their two most common employers were McDonald's and Walmart, who combined to earn $23 billion in profits last year. $23 billion, and you're telling me they can't afford to pay their employees enough so that they don't need government assistance? See, what that means is you wouldn't have to help pay for these people's food if their employer, a nearly $1 trillion corporation, just paid them a livable wage. You're more upset at the people using the program than the companies who have put them in a position where they even need it in the first place. Also, Walmart double dips here. The majority of food stamps are redeemed at Walmart. So not only do they save money by underpaying their staff, but their revenue then gets subsidized by this program because that's where people tend to use it. Final statistic, about 1/3 of SNAP recipients, over 12 million of them, are children. What's the argument there? Are they not working hard enough? What, you don't want to get a job just because you're 7? Like, can we stop for 1 second to think about what you're saying here? You have let somebody convince you that in this situation, the only way to make your life better is if 12 million children starve. So I want to ask, who is more to blame here? A bunch of kids who got born into poverty, or CEOs with more money than anybody could spend in 1,000 lifetimes who expect you to solve the problem that they helped create?
For some people, it doesn't matter what you
It's
say
the CEOs.
will still go to
We
war.
blame the
It's not
CEOs.
working for them. Statistically speaking, it's probably not. You'll try to criticize a multi-billionaire who's not paying enough taxes, and people will defend them like, hey, it's not their fault. They're just taking advantage of loopholes like any smart business person would. And you're like, okay, so then we agree there's a problem with the rules, right? If they're just exploiting the system, then maybe the system shouldn't be so easy to exploit. We've
Hi,
reached a
Finding
point where a lot of the
Koji.
core principles of a free market no longer apply. Like the idea that you can vote with your dollar. I get to pick which businesses I support, therefore the best ones will succeed and the worst ones will fail. Yeah, except when one company is allowed to corner the market and price out all their competition, suddenly there isn't any.
And we would have small businesses tell us if they walked into a Walmart or a Costco, the retail price at those stores the price on the shelves at those stores is lower than the wholesale price a small business is getting. And so there are huge disparities here.
And that's now feeding into itself, right? The more
Fuck the shareholders.
everyone, the less freedom they have when they're deciding what to pay for. Amazon is certainly not the only place to buy things, but historically speaking, it's almost always the cheapest and most convenient. So how do you convince somebody who's also been forced to pinch pennies due to their own circumstances that they need to spend more time and money buying that same thing from a local mom and pop shop when they could just click 3 buttons and have it magically appear at their door in 3 hours? It's not even really fair to impose that because that person is also struggling. But then the cycle continues. The small business closes, Amazon and Walmart extend their reach even further, and once all competition is defeated, then they can just raise the prices to be whatever they want. They can train an algorithm to charge you the maximum price they think you'll pay at any given moment. Now, one of the most common counter arguments you'll hear if you bring up the idea of raising taxes on the ultra wealthy is that, well, if you do that, they're just gonna leave. First of all, no, they're not. That's a bluff they've been using for years, perpetuated by media networks owned by, you guessed it, rich people who don't want their taxes.
Wait, hold on.
Sure,
I will say I don't understand that argument. It's like, don't we want them to leave? I thought we wanted them to leave. Why is that a bad thing that they leave? Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know how that's supposed to be a good argument for them. Like, isn't it good that they leave? Maybe we should shove them all on an island and then burn it. Maybe that's a bad thing to say on stream. They think the jobs would leave with them. Well, I mean, they're not the ones providing the jobs. I mean, the companies can... Technically, every company can exist without the CEO. Like, I'm genuinely serious. Like, no company would literally fall apart because there's no CEO. Companies are made up of like teams of people. So like you just have the team of people replace the CEO. It would never, you could just be like, yeah, bye. Like for example, what was it, that healthcare guy who died? Who got shot or whatever by the Luigi dude? Like the healthcare thing is still being held up because he was going to a shareholder meeting, and so all the rest of the shareholders still are there. It's okay. We're all like, what do? we wanna say shit, but we don't want to get punished for it. But like the problem is that it's like, it's that like we all know that there's something wrong with this society. Like, I think inherently we all know that there's something wrong with the society. There is no one who's here that's like in the 1% that's super rich, who's like, you know, oh no, they're gonna be offended. Well, too bad for them. Like, we're all primarily, well, statistically, we're all primarily middle to lower middle to even lower class. I don't think I know anyone who's upper middle. Usually they're like busy with their lives, like doing their, I don't know, rich lives thing. I don't know, but my point is that like we don't need these CEOs. Like legitimately, we really don't need them. They leave so they don't have to pay our taxes or something. Well, it sounds like they're not paying our taxes anyways, so we might as well kick them out anyway. So, yeah, let's just kick them out. Let's just kick them out.
Them might leave, but the kinds of people who are willing to go to the trouble of moving their entire business from New York City to like Kissimmee, Florida, are probably already doing everything they can to avoid paying any taxes at all. It doesn't seem like a very productive mindset to cater to this parasitic minority at the expense of everybody else. Second of all, oh my God, can we grow some fucking balls here?
You don't understand. They're not gonna
like it if we raise their taxes. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear how pathetic?
Raise their
Okay, so what,
taxes.
we can't do anything then? That's it? It's over? They won? Your plan is that we should just give up and let the billionaires have whatever they want. Buddy, we've already tried that, and that's not working either. Third of all, this criticism is predicated on an idea that taxation essentially has a bell curve to it, where after a certain rate, your overall revenue actually decreases because people will lose the incentive to work as hard or, like you're saying, move away. With this in mind, there have been studies done by economists who believe that every country has its own ideal rate for maximum efficiency. However, the implication that raising taxes would cause the overall revenue to go down would only be true if we were on the tail end of this bell curve, and we are nowhere close to that. So if your main concern is to maximize total revenue, it's pretty clear which direction we should be moving in. Otherwise, the very metric your point is referencing contradicts the argument you're trying to make. Now, even having said all of that, I'm not going to sit here and act like just raising taxes is an immediate fix to all of our problems, because we'd still have to rely on elected officials to actually use that money in a sensible way. I'd be happy to contribute more if I knew it was going to better healthcare or nicer parks or public transportation.
Oh my God, if it was using
If
to
my money's
better
just gonna
public
be used to blow up a
transportation,
hospital
absolutely.
on the other side of the world, then yeah, maybe I'd rather just give it to a food bank. I don't know all the answers, because at the end of the day, no matter how hard I try to expand my legacy beyond it, I'm still just the road work ahead guy. But I do know that this amount of wealth inequality that's showing zero signs of slowing down anytime soon is not sustainable. Turns out that actually every single thing in the world becoming a for-profit commodity, from housing to healthcare, is just a way to enrich a few people at the cost of many. And I have to wonder if we've finally reached a point now where the greed has gone too far, that it's now so impossible to ignore that no amount of gaslighting about how the economy is good actually will convince people who are dying because they can't afford to go to the doctor that this is just how life should be. History shows that unfortunately sometimes things have to get worse before they can get better, and if this is what it takes for a return to class solidarity, then I guess at least we're closer to that than we've been in a long time. We just need to put down our phones, set aside our differences for a little bit, and unite on this one issue. They want us divided because they're afraid of how strong we would be if we stood together. Do not fall for it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go argue on Reddit about how Ghost of Yotei is woke because they didn't make the main character hot enough for me. Thank you for watching.
I don't even know what that's about. Don't even. Oh no! Public transportation. The TV told me that's commie propaganda. Oh no. Oh no. Don't believe the TV, Koji. Public transportation actually good. Walkable cities actually good. Less road structures actually good. Maybe I have realized now at the end of the video that I'm like, maybe I'm like sending it to the wrong people, because I feel like we all know this already. I don't know how else to, I don't know what else to do. That's where it's coming from, is I don't know what else to do. Like this is crazy. Moved across the country a couple years ago to be with my girlfriend. I can't go back. There's actually public transportation and walkability here. And isn't it great? Public transportation is really great sometimes. It really, really is great. I'm an avid user of public transportation. In fact, I use public transportation today. In a way, my inability to get a driver's license has helped me out very well. You know, the problem is I still don't know what we're supposed to do about it. What was it like? This like goes back to the whole, oh, of course you need to go vote, but there's other things that you can do. But the problem is that I think, well, first I think knowledge is helpful. So that's why I was like, I felt like that middle section about that GE guy, that GE CEO, I think that actually helped explain a lot helped fill in some gaps that I couldn't really understand because I'm not a business person. Like, I'm not someone who can understand what CEOs are thinking. So I was like, I think that helped a lot in understanding, like, okay, so this is how we got here. Like, this is what pattern, what formula that these CEOs are trying to follow. Because otherwise it was just like, I know they're trying to get rich, but I was like, but what's the end goal here? Like, I couldn't really understand what exactly was. I just knew it was like, oh yeah, profitability. Obviously I know like that is the goal, Everything that we talk about in business is all about your ROI, your return on investment, and everything has to be about how profitable you can make something. But I'm like, but like, what's the end goal here? And then so when they're explaining it, that like now the goal is like, you make it so that you're so rich that you trick the society into thinking that you're making the company better, so that by the time they look at the numbers and realize, you know what, there is actually supposed to be an end to it, by the time they find that out, you'll have died already. Which I will say is kind of weird, considering they also seem to like investing in extending their life. So I'm like, at some point, if you're trying to extend your life and you're trying to fool society for as long as you possibly can, then considering we're not really able to extend life yet, isn't this all gonna like fall apart at some point? Like, that death really would be the best result for them? Because otherwise, if they just keep living, then eventually when people look at the numbers and realize it's not going to work, they're still alive so that they can suffer consequences. Like, what? I don't know, man. Like, I'm like drawing those timelines further and further and being like, this doesn't add up. The end goal is Cookie Clicker IRL. Oh my god. I can't forget the Australian CEO who publicly stated that companies need to hire less people to raise unemployment because workers are becoming too arrogant. I don't know how to respond to that. At this point, it's like they're so far from reality. It's gone farther than where my empathy level is able to go. Like, I can't even, there's no amount of like me trying to put myself in their shoes that can help me understand how they came to that conclusion. Other than they're so detached from reality that they just like believing this thing. Which I think is probably what's happening, is that they are in fact very detached from reality. Actually, I will say that is another pattern where it's like CEOs are very much detached from reality because they've advanced so far. Or not advanced, but like their lifestyle is so different, and their worries and concerns and things are so different from ours, it is truly like they are living on a different planet entirely. And they've made it so that they're able to keep doing it and shield themselves from the reality of what the world is. Because I feel like if they ever were to actually take a second to contemplate the results of their actions, I think most of them would just decombust. Like, they would either explode mentally and require lots of therapy, which, to be honest, I don't think any level of philanthropy will really help them undo what they've done. So they would rather prefer living in this fake reality, this fake life where everything's great, everything's good, they're rich as hell, they have no financial worries, and I don't know. Also, hi, Mr. Goodbar. Welcome to Monday stream, which is Happy Class Consciousness Christmas. We gotta start summoning more Christmas ghosts. You know, I recently watched a video about Etsy witches, and I'm like, you know, Etsy witches aren't that expensive. If I could pay like $12 to an Etsy witch to hex CEOs, I would do it. It'd be a waste of money, let's be honest, but I'd do it. What's the worst that can happen, you know? Best case scenario, it actually works. Worst case scenario, I just wasted $12. But hey, at least I didn't give it to a CEO. So it's still a win-win. I don't even think it's enough to blame Ronald Reagan. Because if, like, according to what Duck said earlier and what y'all said earlier, I will say I don't really know the intricacies of, like, the years of when presidents were born, but the fact that they all came from the same generation, I'm just gonna believe you on that part. The thing is, like, what is making it so that people are able to, because there's like, okay, I don't understand enough. I don't understand enough about politics to be able to speak on, like, elections. Like, literally, I don't know how to phrase, because I don't know. Like, there's a whole thing of, like, okay, well, how do we get to this point where, like, Trump is elected? And I don't know how to understand, like, oh, did he really fake the votes? I don't know. Is that really a thing that you can do? Did he really? Like, how do we, like, so it can't be that, like, it was literally just all bots. I feel like there could have been just, like, an actual person to vote for Trump. And then, so it's like, so why did they do it? Why? What? Like, my extent of politics is, like, I'm just gonna sit here and ask why, because I really don't know. There's no amount of trying to put myself in their shoes of trying to understand, like, what specific like, is it just, like, religion? Do we, is the answer to blame religion? I don't know. Do you want me to share the Hank Green video? I mean, sure. I'll take as much info as I can get. Honestly. Like, and at this point, like, I'm doing the thing like streamers are not supposed to do, which is like, oh, we're not supposed to talk about politics. But like, at the end of the day, you can't talk about class consciousness without realizing that politics has a huge part in it. And it's either we don't talk about it and we pretend nothing's happening, or we risk talking about it and risk getting canceled. I don't know what's worse. I mean, we're already in the worst scenario, which is it's happening. So it's all the more confusing because every answer you find still doesn't make sense. Yeah. And like it's hard, it's tough to try to be like, I don't want to be the type of person to be like, "Oh, my way of thinking is right and your way of thinking is wrong." Because I think everyone arrives to a conclusion for like a certain way, for a reason. And it's from their specific set of circumstances that brought them there. And I think that is valid. I just don't understand how we got here. Oh, you know what? I did see this this thumbnail on my For You page, on my recommended, and I didn't click it yet. Wait, this is like an hour. Almost. This is 45 minutes. Oh no. I don't want to But I mean, I will say this is my fault for starting this conversation. So I feel like I should take responsibility for it. Because there's no other way that you can watch that video and just not do anything about it. First 15-ish minutes are talking about it, then rest of it, him talking with an expert. Okay. I think we can do the 15 minutes where it's just him talking about it. And then once he gets to the expert part, I believe we can probably leave that to people to decide if they want to watch the rest of it. I think that's fair. If you don't fuck with politics, politics will fuck with you. And they have, in fact, fucked us a lot. They have fucked us over, and I don't know how to deal with it. Oh no. I would hear old ladies all the time say they love Reagan or Trump because he's so handsome, which is harder to understand than any other answer they could have given. Oh, I did not know that was a reason. I was really hoping that wasn't a reason. Vibes-based voting is a thing. You know what? I will say that is kind of true. That is kind of true. Even from my parents who are like, oh yeah, I'll just vote for this guy because he looks handsome. Because who cares about policies or whatever, you know, the stuff that's actually important. Sure, let's go vote based on how good looking he is. Sure. Though I will say over here in Canada, I wouldn't say like it makes sense, but I would say that it was a thing for a while in the early days, that there was like people who are huge fans of Trudeau because of how hot he was. Like he legitimately had fangirls. And I will say I wish it was focused on something different. But at the same time, I was also going to admit that like the pickings weren't that great either. If I guess you were looking for someone who was easy on the eyes in politics, and if American politicians are all 60 or 70 or 80 years old or older, then I guess in the sense that you take Trudeau, I guess he was better looking than the rest. But, you know, I don't I still don't think. Yeah, I was like, I kind of get it, but maybe we should still not vote like this.
Bernie Sanders, 1941. Joe Biden, 1942. John Kerry, 1943. Bill Clinton,
Wait, is this
1940.
how you guys know the years of presidents being born? Because Hank Green talked about it. Because I assumed y'all just knew because of your U.S. history, and I was like, maybe I'm just lacking in U.S. history. Is this how you knew? I thought y'all just knew instinctually.
George W. Bush, 1946. Donald Trump, 1946. Hillary Clinton, 1947. Mitt Romney, 1947. Al Gore, 1948. That is a lot of people that I have had the chance to vote for president in my life. Like almost all of them. I think there are like 2 people who I could have voted for who are not on that list. But all of those people, all of them, were born within 8 years of each other. 3 of them, Clinton, Bush, and Trump, all presidents, were born in the same summer of 1946. What is going on? Now, of course, with any small data set, there's going to be a high chance of some weird things going on, of strange coincidences. So, of course, you got to watch out for reading too much into something like this. But it goes beyond presidents. So I think it's fair to say that there is a thing going on here. And it's also about to end. And because it's definitely a thing and it's about to end, I think it really is worth thinking about the fact that the baby boomers have been the dominant force in American politics for my entire adult life. And I am 45 years old. But now, more than halfway into
he's
my
45?
life, that dominance is ending.
I did
now,
not know
of course,
that.
just by like the way that time works, every generation does get its moment in the sun. The silent generation had their power for a while. The greatest generation had their power through the Cold War. But the boomers have had an incredible run. They have been running the show since the 1990s.
I absolutely feel like y'all should age gate the presidents. 1,000%. Just purely based on the fact that at some point, like, you gotta nominate some people who actually have had lived experience living in the society that they're governing. Like, for these people to be so old, like, none of them know what it's like to live in this day and age. That's crazy. No wonder all of them have no idea about social media. They were all not alive yet. Or no, they were all too old to understand it. We want to, but the old people have to vote yes on it. I will say that's also another thing where it's like, I believe there's constant, I don't even know how true this is. There's always been like constant news about like the voting populace, the people who go out and vote. Many of them are usually older people, and that's why there's like such a huge push to get younger people to vote, to get younger people to care about politics, to care about their community, to care about stuff, so that they have something to vote for. Age gate politicians definitely is one of them. I think the other one is like, can we bring back, education reform? Because I don't think it helps that a lot of these laws also keep stripping the income of teachers. And like, if you want kids to care, you have to educate them about stuff first. In order to educate them about stuff first, you got to give these teachers at least some sort of usable income so that they can come up with some smart and really cool and creative lesson plans that can teach the students about stuff that they should care about. I don't know. We got to do something to both the old people and the young people. We need to educate the young people, and then we need to age gate the old people. Similarly, just like when I talk about a lot of the people who are on the roads and the complaints I hear of people who are driving, and how many of them come from, bad drivers. Yeah, they also happen to be old and haven't renewed their license in forever. And they're driving 50 on an 80 lane. Maybe we should age gate, or at least have them test do IQ tests or something every 10 years or something. I don't know. Maybe we should IQ test old people and let them qualify for presidency if they pass.
Became the majority in the House of Representatives after the 1998 midterms, which was the first election I got the privilege of voting in. By 2001, they made up over half of both chambers, and they stayed there for 27 years straight. That streak broke this year when Gen X finally had more members in the House than boomers. But boomers still run the Senate, and the president, Donald Trump, was born right there at the beginning of the baby boomer generation. And then there is Obama, who I definitely consider to be an outlier here. Cool, young, and born in 61, Obama is technically
I don't
a boomer.
drive.
Donald Trump was right
I
on the cusp
use public
between Greatest
transportation.
Generation and boomers. Barack Obama, right on the cusp between boomers and Gen X. I, right on the cusp between Gen X and millennials, just saying. My time will come. My time will not come. But it is interesting that we got 8 years of like a very late boomer presidency and then went back to 12 more years of boomers. 12 more! So what happened? Why has one generation held on to power longer than any other in American history? Part of the answer right up front, I think, is like the boring and good news of biology and medicine. People are living longer. They are living healthier. Medical care is better. The average senator is 65 years old. A fifth of all of Congress is over 70. There are 19 members in their 80s.
Oh my God.
Grassley, who is 91.
Oh my
will
God.
be 95 if he finishes his term.
Oh my God.
Part of the reason why it exists is just that people are physically capable of keeping their power longer. Perhaps they have always wanted to keep staying in power, but they have died. They've had heart attacks, and then they aren't in Congress anymore. So that's part of the story, but it's only part of it. There's also
We need the Grim Reaper to work faster. Do you think the Grim Reaper is also being underpaid somehow? Maybe the Grim Reaper needs to work faster. Either we age-gate the presidents, or the Grim Reaper needs a raise so that he can hire more baby Grim Reapers and work faster.
piece that is structural, about the structure of politics and American government. Because it's not just that the people are old, it's that our political system makes it hard to get people out of office. There is a tremendous advantage to incumbency, or at least there was for a long time. And people keep not dying. So if you get both of those things, like if it's easy
He's
for
getting
someone to
bribed
stay
for
in power
sure.
and they don't die, then they're gonna keep getting older. But what are the structures behind this incumbency advantage? So over the last few decades, congressional districts have become much safer. Fewer and fewer seats are genuinely competitive. And that has happened because
That's not
of
good.
gerrymandering.
It needs
if given the chance,
competitiveness.
elected officials will redraw the lines of congressional districts to make life easier for themselves. Why wouldn't they? That can lock in incumbency directly, but it can also increase partisanship, which means that incumbents rarely lose to the other side because their districts become more and more supportive of them as the country gets more partisan. As everything begins to be considered nationally rather than locally. This is a thing in Montana, where like the Montana Democratic Party, this is where I live, for many decades was very different from the National Democratic Party, but it can no longer be imagined that way. And so this is a pure red state, whereas we used to have a Democratic governor not so long ago. We used to have Democratic representative. We used to have a Democratic senator because the Democratic Party was different here because it's different here. It's Montana. It's not like California. So this rise of partisanship means incumbents rarely lose to the other side. So most of the challenges these days come from people within your own party running against you, specifically because the gerrymandering drives that partisanship, which means that often you are being challenged by someone who holds your views, but like the more extreme versions of them.
Oh, that's wild. That's wild. You're just running against someone in your own party? What? How does that happen? Well, I mean, he explained how it happens, but that doesn't make any sense. And then the fact that's like the more extreme versions of is what? I want people to have access to healthcare, education, and housing. Yeah. I do too. is the infighting the thing that Drew's talking about how we keep fighting each other instead of focusing on the big issues?
Political scientists have a name for this. They call it the vanishing marginals problem. Fewer districts are decided by slim margins, which means fewer opportunities for turnover. So that's one piece of the structure. There's another structural thing here. The way DC works, insiders with a lot of experience are more able to deliver for their districts, which makes them harder to run against. So if you've been in it and you know how it works, then you're just better able to do the job than somebody who'd be coming in fresh. So that's like a second structural thing. A third structural thing is just that politics has become more complex, and incumbency comes with a bunch of advantages, like name recognition is part of it. Like, you're out there doing stuff and being in the news, but also like you've built up staff, you have a good team, you have media access, you can be on the news, you have fundraising networks that are already built and operating. And speaking of fundraising, our last structural thing is that in 2021, the silent generation and baby boomers together made up around 43% of voters, but nearly 80% of political spending. This is nuts.
Oh.
This made me like mad. When I first read this, I got actually mad. But like, of course they do, because boomers have around $80 trillion compared with the wealth of Gen X's $45 trillion. That's a big difference. And because a lot of those boomers don't have very much wealth at all, it means a lot of them have way more like disposable wealth that they'd like to do something with. They'd like to make a difference with. They're no longer maybe working to make that difference. And so instead, what do? They spend that money making politics go the way they want it to go. Though to reiterate, I always have to say, whenever talking about wealth and generations, this is not equally distributed inside of the generations. There are many people in the baby boomer generation living in poverty. I just feel like that never gets said, so I have to say it every time. And this isn't just about the dollars, it's about the built infrastructure around it that takes years to develop. Donor relationships, PACs and super PACs and bundlers and fundraisers. All of this is a system, and it is very important, and it is hard to build. It takes a long time to build. And the system that exists right now is built by and for the people who have already been in power for decades. If you're 30 years old and you want to run for Congress, you're not just up against another candidate, you're up against an entire generation's political machine. And you're probably not Zoran Mamdani thrust into the political spotlight. You're probably running for like Florida's 32nd district and nobody's ever heard of you. I don't even know if Florida has a 32nd district. That seems like a lot. Florida's 32nd district. It does have one. Brevard County. I've been to Brevard County. Brian Hodgers, who won by around 2,000 votes. That was a pretty close one. So that's
is that close? 2,000 is close?
A marginal-ish district. The point is, the political apparatus is complex now, and this was not always the case. In the 19th century, almost half of lawmakers had no prior political experience. They were citizen legislators, which is like a word that historians have made up because this is a phenomenon of history. These are people who briefly served and then went back home to their jobs. Now,
I like that one. Why can't we have that? Because then they'll have actual legitimate lived experience of what the fuck they're writing into laws about. And then they go back to getting a job. How about we tell presidents to go get a job? And see how hard they think it is. And be like, you can't be a president anymore. Go find a regular ass job. Compete with the fucking AI resumes out there. Good luck. And then they can have that lived experience and be like, oh shit, what did we do? Thank you for the sip, Healed Venom. I actually have been secretly sipping, even though sip has not been redeemed. Oh no. The drink of choice today is barley tea. I have recently acquired a bag of barley tea. And now I drink a lot of it. Illegal sips. I have in fact been doing illegal sips.
politics is the job.
Oh, thank you for the
lose
stretch.
Too much when someone leaves.
Can we get rid of CEOs who try to screw over it? Not even, man. We gotta get rid of all of them. Or we gotta do something about the CEOs. But the problem is, like, they all, however any of them got there, I mean, let's be honest, right? Majority of them who got up there had to have had a certain amount of luck, whether it be they were lucky by being born into a family that allowed them to fail, and they managed to fail so many times that they found something that succeeded, or there's like other lucks. I don't know what the lux is, but the first one was the only one I could think of so far. There are ones who get lucky and like just purely from working hard, but it's not only just that. I think the luck is also like they happen to be at the right place at the right time, and that takes a lot more luck than we really give it, which we should really be like, no, actually that is actually an insane amount of luck. To be at the right place at the right time is an insane amount of luck. And then there's certain sorts of luck that can be achieved, such as by going to a really good school, having a really good teacher who just really cared about your education, who believed in you and helped do whatever they could to get you to like a good university. Like, this isn't to say like there aren't people who came from lower class families who had to work their way through multiple part-time jobs to afford their way through university. But like there is still a certain amount of luck, because like once you get to that university, then like you then make the right amount of connections, and then your connections can really pull you forward, especially if you're at these, I guess, elite universities. Like if you're going to university at like MIT or something, of course you're going to meet other fellow smart engineers. So like you're naturally going to be surrounded by people who then go off and work at like really top companies or whatever. Like all of this is considered luck and hard work together. The only difference is that people don't all have that luck, and we don't hear from those people who don't have that luck. There are many people who graduate from fucking Harvard and still don't make it to the top because they didn't have the luck that other, I don't know, CEOs who graduate from Harvard have. So it's not really like entirely, oh, you just have good hard work and then luck. You do need both of them. What was my point? My point was that we need to figure out how to deal with these CEOs, because they all kind of think similarly. That's how you get this whole pattern of like one CEO is like, oh my god, AI is a good idea, and then he like spreads the info to everyone else, and then it becomes like this phenomenon because they're not faced with the people who are losing jobs to AI, because they're like, I'm never going to lose my job to AI, so I don't have to worry about it. I just get to look at the numbers go up. Like that is literally you just need to take a CEO and someone who's, I don't know, like an artist, and then like switch their positions and like live in each other's lives for a day. You know, the artist understands what the CEO's dealing with. The CEO finally understands what an artist is dealing with. I mean, it's never going to be the full picture, but like they're you know, it kind of reminds me of this. Sorry, I'm like I'm not watching. I will click the play on Hank. Sorry, it's a weird spot for me to pause. But this reminds me of this TV show that I used to watch. I don't know if it still plays anymore. But it was like the CEO. It was either the CEO or like a manager, high top level manager. They was it not switch places. They like Oh my god, what was it? They like go to one of their offices. Yeah, undercover boss. And every time it happened, they developed an empathetic perspective of what they needed to do in the company to make it a better work life for their employees. I don't remember if it was like they switched places with the employee or they just pretended they were a new worker. I think we need this type of thing to happen more often. Features the experiences of senior executives working undercover in their own companies to investigate how their firms really work and to identify how they can be improved, as well as to reward hard-working employees. Yeah, that. We need something like this to come back. I don't know why they don't do this anymore. Because, like, the thing is, if these CEOs really care about the well-being of their company, this is the best way for them to understand, like, what their company is like from the bottom up. Not from top down, but from the bottom up. Look at the person who's struggling the most. Why are they struggling? How do you fix that? What are their struggles, you know? And like, I think that is something that should be implemented, should be mandatory for CEOs to do. And at this point, you might as well just say, like, this is mandatory for presidents to do. Like, have them live for a couple, well, how long would undercover boss be? 1 to 2 weeks. 1 week being the norm in some versions, 2 weeks in some other versions. Yeah, like, have them spend a week or two in the life of, like, a lower class family. Like, that would change their perspective so much. And we need to bring that back. Literally, we need to bring that back. Because I feel like as long as you give them just an idea of what reality people are living in, maybe they'll have some hopefully light spot in their heart, in their dark, dark, dark heart. They'll finally develop some semblance of empathy and not just be like, oh, for the working person, for the working class, when they have absolutely no idea what anyone is dealing with. Not lower class family, lowest paid employee. Wait, for the president? I'll say for for the CEOs, yeah, lowest paid employee. But I think for presidents, they have a larger onus on them to need to understand their everyday man, that I feel like even if you just give them middle class, I don't think that's enough for them to really gain that empathy. Like, even I can admit that, like, wherever I am wherever you put me in the class structure, like, I would never be able to understand what, like, someone who's homeless is going through. Like, if I'm someone who's, like, a president, or, like, you gotta make rules or laws that have to benefit society, like, even I feel like I'm not the best candidate for what struggles I have, because my struggles are nothing compared to whatever the homeless person's struggling with. It's not even on the same level. I don't know if he would really, if the person running for president or whatever would really develop much empathy. But they need something that's like struggle day in and day out type of thing, in order to really grasp the disparity between how the poor person's living and how, what, like, the life that they go back home to, like how big that change is. And they need to do it, like, I don't know, like once a month just to remind themselves. Because I can imagine, like, after a month, they'll just, like, go back to regular life and be like, oh, yeah, you know, I remember I did that one time. And then, like, and then it ends up being like, oh, yeah, I did that, like, a couple years ago. Like, at least have them do it once a year or something. I don't know. I think it would benefit them a lot to understand how the everyday man is living, is to at least put themselves in those shoes for a while.
Relationships, you lose a bunch of institutional knowledge of the arcane systems of fundraising and of politics. And this professionalization of politics happened right as the boomer generation came of age. They were the first to grow up with television campaigns and national fundraising and professional consultants, all the tools you need to make politics a career. So those are the structural things. We've got biology, we've got medicine, and we've got structure, but there's also, I think, a last thing, and that thing is a story. America, after World War II, was in many ways the great that President Trump says we should be again. This was a nation that had just defeated fascism. It had been the deciding factor in a world war. It had built the atomic age, and people had come home to this booming economy, a flood of suburban optimism. They are young. They are in their teens and 20s, and they are full of this moral certainty because we were the good guys who won. And they all knew people who had died for that win. And the amount of change that had happened in their parents' generation. So the parents might have been growing up in a world where 15% of children in the US died before the age of 5. And these people would usher in a world where that number dropped so far that a child dying went from being a common occurrence to an unthinkable tragedy. They watched their parents build the highway system and then space programs. And then rock and roll, baby! So when boomers took this power, they were not just inheriting a country, they were bringing this myth with them about what the country was. That's what makes the world of the 1950s feel so great to them. Full of this unity and this confidence and this upward motion, and everybody in power just like kind of pretended together that all the bad things didn't exist. And this thing that they grew up with, it makes perfect sense that they spent the last 27 years trying to recreate it. While working on this script with Kevin Lankes, both of us could not help but call to mind this XKCD comic. Every Christmas, and I'm fine with this, we're out here replaying the soundtrack of their youth. But
wait. Every year, American culture embarks on a massive project to carefully recreate the Christmases of baby boomers' childhoods. Oh boy. Started with Santa Claus is Coming to Town, then you get Rudolph, Winter Wonderland, chestnuts roasting on a Let It Snow. And then the key baby boomers, Frosty the Snowman, Sleigh Ride, it's beginning to look a lot. Oh, they do play that a lot. A lot. Silver Bells, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus, Little Drummer Boy, Blue Christmas, Jingle Bell Rock, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Ooh. Yeah, it seems like we never really stopped from this era of music for Christmas.
And I'm fine with this. We're out here replaying the soundtrack of their youth. But also, for my whole life,
congrats, Feliz Navidad. You squeaked in there.
Who were just a little bit older than the average baby boomer. The ones who could still remember and speak to that great America, who grew up when it felt like the world made sense and America was unquestionably good. Every holiday season is a boomer nostalgia loop. Every election feeds off of that same nostalgia loop. But for everyone younger, that great is something we only ever heard about. And we're also very aware that it was not great for everyone. It was very intentionally only great for some of us. And the
Have a
longer
good
boomers
night,
stay in
Mr.
charge, the
Goodbar.
longer we
Thank you for
stay
dropping
inside of a
by.
story that ended before we were born and was never the whole story anyway. But now, something new is definitely coming. This was the first year since 1998 that boomers have not been the largest generation in the House of Representatives. Boomers still have the Senate and the presidency. But Gen X now does have that plurality in the House. Millennials are showing up. Gen Z has their first member of Congress. Now look, some of the structures that held boomers in place, longevity, money, incumbency, gerrymandering, aren't going anywhere. I mean, unless we make them go somewhere, which I am in favor of doing, and we should be looking at. So even when they retire, the next generation is going to inherit a lot of that same system. Every generation likes to imagine that it's going to do everything differently, but power structures have momentum. Once they start rolling, they are hard to stop. But I can't help feeling like there's like an opportunity here maybe. Like the fraying of the fabric of America is increasing. And this is already showing signs of making things hard for everybody. Because it makes things very hard to do, that means that if you're going to actually do something, you have to just be the ultra powerful person. It's actually a force that pushes toward autocracy. Because if you have problems and the normal systems can't solve them, then you have to create new systems, and that means suddenly the president runs both the executive and the legislative branch. Which means that every 4 years we like hire ourselves a new autocrat, which is not how it should work. But people are waking up to the systems that push for this, and as you probably know, I think that this is mostly due to the fact that communications revolutions are always very societally disruptive and in surprisingly repeatable ways. Also, you may have heard, I think that gerrymandering is the dumbest shit. It's so dumb. It's really stupid to let the people who get elected for the districts draw the lines of the districts.
Yeah.
And most places don't do it that way because it's so dumb. However, I can also see
Poor
as part
Hank.
of it that this hegemonic generation is finally losing its control. And that means that maybe there's a chance for like doing something a little bit different. I like to think that division for the sake of division will start to look like the embarrassing stuff that the older generation did. I'm probably wrong about that, but I like to believe that there might be something to this working together nonsense. As a younger colleague said to me recently, imagine being incapable of compromise and telling yourself it's because you have strong morals. I replied with a fire emoji. But we are at a fraying. I think because of the structures of news media and social media and gerrymandering and all of the other stuff we talked about in this video, but also maybe because of the breaking of the hegemony of the boomers. And if the hegemony is ending, and unless there are some really sudden medical advancements, it is ending, there is a chance for something new here. Who steps into this space? What do they look like? Is it an AOC vibe or is it a JD Vance vibe? Is it a Don Jr. vibe or is it a Pete Buttigieg vibe? What
I don't know who the last two are. Don who? Pete what? Who are these people?
captures attention now? What will be capturing attention 5 or 10 years from now? Is it hatred and division? Is it hope and understanding? What I think is that right now, America is like holding auditions for the next story. There's like a simple boomer version of the story. It's this mythic thing. America as a moral superpower. We are a nation of winners, unified by prosperity and purpose, but that story doesn't hold anymore because the world it described doesn't exist anymore. The post-war economy is gone. A lot of hope is gone. Right or wrong, this is a much more nihilistic moment. So what do we do next? Honestly, the fact that that is a question at all is giving me a little bit of hope, but I don't have good answers for it, but I would like to have a conversation about it, and so I'm going to do that
He's
now.
gonna do that. Okay, that's when he talks to the expert. Couple thoughts. Okay, hold on. I need to remind myself what the thoughts are. I spent some time listening.
We talked about in this video, but
Oh, right. One thing that I did think about, which I feel like I've been hearing less and less of, but once in a while I'll see it appear in a comment or a Reddit thing, and I'll be like, oh, there are people like this, which is, I don't know how common this thought is anymore, but I will say that from me as a millennial, something that again, I don't know how common this thought is. So I guess I'll just speak for myself. Is that for a long time, I think as I've learned more and more about how our society is being built up to be, I think it's possible that, and this is going to sound sad, but it's going to sound good after, okay? So I think it's safe to say that millennials can or will have to kind of forego the idea that life is going to be good for us, because unfortunately we were born at a bad time. We're going to be hit, or we have already been hit the hardest by the effects of the baby boomers and the effects of the boomers, because we are literally the generation that came right after them. However, the good thing about it is that we essentially will become the sacrifice so that the Gen X, so that the generation after us can have a better life. I don't think that within my lifetime that this society is ever going to get better for me. However, I think the hope there, the good part is that, and I think this is what society is supposed to be, is that we sacrifice ourselves so that we learn now to, and like I do see this less about like, oh, the millennials are sacrificing, and more about like, oh, a lot of millennials are putting themselves into therapy, are trying to develop better like EQ, emotional intelligence, trying to learn more, trying to be better, which is much more advanced of a step than any of the boomers will ever take, even if you manage to convince them to. Like I do feel like more and more of my generation are putting themselves into therapy, are recognizing that we have something that we need to fix that our boomer parents won't do, but we'll do it and we'll finance it. And in the hopes that fixing ourselves will make it so that the younger generation doesn't have to deal with it anymore. And I think that's about like the biggest step or the biggest hope that I would say I can give in this nihilistic situation, is that I don't know how many others are like me, but the thought is there of like, I think it's time to kind of let go of the idea that like, oh, we're ever going to be able to make a life that's better for us. I don't think that's possible, especially when a lot of us are in our hag era now. Like, this is not the things can change, but like we are like in our midlife era. It's already like 50% too late. Which I would argue is like, I don't think it's realistic to expect it to be better. But the least that we can do is to own up to our own faults and our own situations, and then look towards to a better future, which is something we've always felt like the boomers never did for us. But we want to do that for the younger generation. And I think that's this, I'm hoping that that's like the major shift that hopefully will spread, and is doing it whether we realize it or not, is that we're trying to take steps to be like, okay, if we can't make society better for us, then at least we can make society better for the younger generation. Let's at least not ruin it for others, you know? Yeah. Like I said, there's the good part is at the end. The good part is that we want a better life for the Gen X, Gen Z? Gen Z. Sorry, I was like, I think we're the Gen X. No, are we the Gen Y? I think we're Gen Y. The Gen Z. The Gen Alpha? Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Yeah, that's it. That's our best hope for the future. Because eventually the millennials, we're gonna become the people who are like 60 years old in Congress, and hopefully will then be the ones who are, oh yeah, we grew up with the internet. We also grew up with life before the internet, and will understand the technological, the both the positive and negatives that has brought upon us with the technological era. And you won't get people who are like, what's the internet? What's TikTok? What's that tickety talk that's on your phone right now? Type of thing. What about creating value for the shareholders? I mean, that's also the hope that like we know and have educated ourselves enough about how that should not be prioritized anymore. Like I'm hoping that like a lot of the millennials are learning from the mistakes of the boomers. That's the one thing. Also, you mentioning the TikTok Congress hearing, I very much, that gets referenced once in a while, and it's been referenced enough that I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But not about the technological gap, but more so like their issues with trying to figure out what ethnicity the guy was. I think so many of them was just like, are you Chinese? And the guy has to be like, no, I'm Singaporean. And they're like, yeah, but were you born in China and then moved to Singapore earlier? And he's like, no, I'm Singaporean. I think that was the most ridiculous conversation I have ever seen in my life. That poor guy had to say, I'm Singaporean at least 3 times. Or 5 times. I don't know. He had to clarify so many times that he's like, I'm not. That poor man tried so hard not to say, I'm literally I'm not Chinese. Stop saying that I am. Because these idiots think that Singapore and China's the same goddamn thing. Ridiculous. So I'm not even surprised about the technological gap, about them not knowing what the web is, what the internet is. It's like, why are you even in this hearing? Literally, why are you even part of this hearing if you don't even understand what exactly it is you're talking about? You should not be allowed to make judgments and pass laws about this if you don't even understand what the internet is. You're not qualified. Find out is a funny way of saying it. He had to say it like 20 times in 60 seconds. Oh, I remember seeing those clips. Why is Facebook moving my grandkids' photo JPEGs? I can't find my JPEG. It hurts so much to read it like that. Where are my JPEGs and my GIFs? What about my videos? How do you get the video from the TV screen to the black box thingamajig? Literally, they're not qualified. They're so not qualified. It's painful. Yeah. Sorry, I took y'all on like a 2-hour tangent, but it had to be said. I feel like at some point it had to be said. We don't really talk much about this stuff. Well, maybe I don't remember when the last time I did. Maybe I do and I just forgot. But I was like, I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have. just in case anyone wanted to be like, I don't want to be, just in case anyone felt like they were alone in thinking this, I think it helps to talk about it and to say like, hey, you're not the only one thinking about it. You're not the only one who's like, why are we not talking about the elephant in the room? Am I the only one going crazy thinking this? Am I the only one going crazy realizing this? And like, why is no one doing anything about it? Kind of thoughts. Yeah, I think at least talking about it helps strengthen the argument that like there are people out here who know about it and we are thinking about it and you're not crazy. And well, I mean the rats may be a little crazy, but not that part. But I mean the rest of it's not crazy. We black out the memories for our safety. Is it for our safety or is it for our sanity? I think it's more so we black out the memories for our sanity. But yeah. We have an hour. Are we down for some Animal Crossing? We go from talking about class consciousness Christmas to playing the literal game about capitalism. in the shape of a tanuki called Tom Nook. God damn it, Tom Nook. Also, I need to put the chat box back down. Hold on. Let me move it. I don't even know how far I should go down. Here, let's do that. Oh yeah, I was charging my controllers. And I did play a little bit over the weekend. Or no, last week? I played some over during last week. And the benefit of that is that we won't have any issues because I fixed them last week. Thankfully, Tom hasn't started charging interest yet. Thankfully, Tom doesn't have shareholders and investors. If he did, we'd be fucked. But we do need to change the date because I changed it to my timing. Okay, it is December 1st. This is correct. But we need to make... Oh, wait. This is correct. Oh, wait. No, we need to change this. Let's do... Because if we do 11 p.m., everything will be closed. Let's do 12 p.m. afternoon. Right in the afternoon, I think is pretty perfect. Da da ba 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 ba. The monster Tom Nook with his no money down, interest-free, no due date mortgage houses. Yeah. We love Tom Nook. Thank you, Tom Nook. Also, I did end up switching the Wi-Fi on this, so I figured it would be a little faster. Well, hoping. Wait, why is this sound so quiet? There we go. Isabel? Miss? Ma'am? Ah. Hello, Isabel. It's December 1st. Happy December. CJ is here. Woo. Looks like it's time to go fishing today. But not before we check our flowers. Okay, now what was it I bought? I forgot what I bought. I bought nothing. We got interest. Okay, cool. Okay, let's do our flowers first. What do I have in my bed right now? Turkey Day casserole, maple leaf. Okay, let's put those in storage. And make room for our flowers. Gotta check my flower breeding image. Okay. Oh yeah, and also change my category. There we go. Alright, let's see if we got any flowers. Okay, I really think I did something wrong with this area. And also this area. I don't know what is it that I've done wrong, because none of them are growing any new flowers. Okay, here we've got white. This is not supposed to be white. Black. Perfect. Yep. This one, we also did not get any new stuff. Change the interest in Animal Crossing from 0.5 to 0. Wait, 0.05? Really? Wait, like, in the game? What was even the point of that? It's not even real money. Why? It's not even real money. Oh my god. That's just petty. I'll tell you that much. That feels petty. It's crazy I keep watering these plants even though I know they're not going to give me anything I want. I didn't know chrysanthemums were gonna be the toughest ones to do. Like, we literally haven't even made any progress on them at all. We got pink, and that was it. At least this one has like a full grid, you know? Maybe I did the chrysanthemums wrong. Hi, Aru! You missed our whole section where we talked about capitalism. Because that's the kind of stream we have today. I'm sorry, Fira has officially gotten into, you know, crazy topics such as, like, I don't know, I feel like everyone should be able to afford healthcare or good education or housing or I don't know, what was it? We talked about universal basic income. Someone mentioned that before. Yeah, and how we should tax the rich more. It's been a very anti-capitalistic conversation. But how have you been? I hope your Thanksgiving went well. I think it was to make time travelers have to work harder to cheat, but like it's a single player game mostly. That's fine. Let people play normally. That's true. Also, how is that supposed to help or hurt time travelers? They were gonna time travel regardless anyway, so I mean... California has not done me any good, as you can probably imagine. I actually don't know how California is doing. But I mean, I imagine because it's in America, then it's everyone suffering with the same issues, basically. Oh yeah, and then there was how every single CEO, at some point in their tenure, have posted a message, a company-wide message, to all their employees about how AI is good actually, and that they should implement it. And I was like, why is it always just the CEOs and no one else? Who's making them drink the AI Gatorade or whatever? The Kool-Aid? The AI Kool-Aid. That's it. And then we decide to go back into Animal Crossing, which is the capitalism game. Yippee! Where we just water flowers, harvest pumpkins, so that we can give it to Tom Nook. And at this point, I'm not even upgrading my house anymore, so I don't even know what I'm making money for. I guess at this point it's just flowers now. I'm just here for the flowers breeding, the recipes collecting, and then oh yeah, and then collecting the bugs and things. Collecting the collection part of it. After that, it's a free-for-all in Animal Crossing because I would have achieved literally everything I needed to do. Did I water these already? Yes. Okay. Here, we'll just continue the white flowers here. Flavorade! Yeah, that. Definitely that. I don't know where to put the yellow. You can go here. Oh no. No! I don't want the goddamn whatever they're called. Wiggleoids? Yeah, I don't want gyroids. Give me a fossil instead. You'll notice I'm never gonna touch the one that's on the beach. He's gonna be alone, and he's gonna like it. Because I refuse to pick up a gyroid. It's like the Easter thing all over again with the eggs. I don't want them. While on vacation, it's only fair that I let someone else stumble upon it. I just had to share it, so I stuffed it into a bottle and floated it to you. Try it out, you won't be sorry. Ooh, coconut milk. If you take the coconut milk and you put it on top of mango, then you get that yummy. Oh, and rice. You get like sticky rice. You get that delicious. Was it Thai or Viet? Oh my God, where's my? Where is my slingshot? Oh, here. There goes my slingshot. Thai makes sense. Yeah, probably is Thai. What does this look like? Oh, penmanship. Oh, I see a gold spot. I see a gold spot. But damn though, I will say the mango dessert is very delicious. We're selling that gyroid. I don't even want to keep it in my storage. Okay, where is it? Where is it? I see it. Okay. Wahoo! Okay, now we're gonna put it somewhere else. I still don't know why some of the trees aren't growing, but it's okay. Maybe they just need some time. Just a little patience, and then it will grow into a beautiful tree and harvest me 10K. Oh no, 30K. Also, look! The holly bushes grew! They look so festive, I can't wait until it snows. It looks so good with the snow. Look, they even got a Christmas tree now! Oh my god! Okay, it's too early for me to sell something. Though I will sell the gyroid. I don't wish to hold on to it anymore. Oh, you know what? I can get the slingshot. That's what I wanted to do. We got a racetrack. They no longer have stuff on sale. They have Go from Hikaru no Go. They have a Triceratops and a very futuristic chair. Artsy chair. That is not that much actually, but... It might be Go from Go. No! Hikaru no Go came first! Ooh, let's get the out... Wait. Have I just been using the regular slingshot the whole time? Does that mean the whole... Okay. So there's a durability for, like, the shovel compared to the flimsy shovel. The slingshot and the outdoorsy slingshot probably have the same durability, do they not? I've just been using the regular slingshot the whole time. Maybe it's cooler if I use the old outdoorsy one. Truly the chicken or egg question of the modern age. Yeah, and Hikaru no Go came first. That is how it is. I don't make the rules. Hikaru no Go came first. Also, interestingly, I will say that was one of the few, I guess, sports manga that I read willingly back in high school. I did miss out on the Haikyuu, unfortunately. Because Haikyuu did not exist yet. Haikyuu is still technically considered a very new series for my high school self back then. Back when One Piece was achievable, and I really still kick myself every day for not reading or getting onto One Piece. But it's like, how was I supposed to know that One Piece was gonna have a resurgence of the lifetime and get like such a good TV show out of it, and like that the anime was gonna go on forever? I didn't know that back then. I was just like, oh, it's just gonna be like, what is that other manga called? Shaman something. Like, that one came and went. And I was like, oh, One Piece is just gonna be like that. Shaman King! Yes! Thank you. Hi, Pumpokin? Pumpokin? Hello. Yes, you are correct. Shaman King. I thought One Piece was just gonna come and go like Shaman King. And turns out it did not. In fact, I thought it was gonna be like Bleach. And Bleach eventually ended. You really could not have predicted One Piece was gonna be the one to get big, honestly. It took a while for One Piece to really gain its popularity, I will say. Like, back then, One Piece was popular, but it wasn't to the extent that is right now. It really was just like one in, I don't know, like 50 other shonen manga out there. Like, even heck, I would say at the time Prince of Tennis was more popular than One Piece. More people knew about Gintama than they knew about One Piece. To show, like, really how it does come out of left field. That's like, oh, One Piece was the one that was going to be the thing to really withhold or sustain its popularity for a long amount of time. As someone who's up to 750-ish chapters in One Piece, I can confidently tell you you're much better off reading 50 different manga series instead for the same amount of time. Oh no. Is it really that bad? Because that's kind of crazy. I remember One Piece at the time. It was pretty much right up there alongside Naruto and Bleach. I think it's just extra popular now. Yeah, it was definitely on the same level as those. You wouldn't have been able to predict that, like, oh, out of One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, like, which one was the one who's gonna be getting the... Honestly, I thought it was Naruto that was gonna get the extra popularity. But then it had to go ahead and end. So, I mean, you can't really do much about that. Also, I feel like it would be nice if there was like a one-pace version of Bleach. I'd watch that. I would be interested in something like that, like a one-pace version of Naruto, one-pace version of Bleach. It's a lot of new island. Oh no, a new problem that will probably ultimately be solved by beating someone up. Then they beat someone up or make friends. Oh. So you're saying it's very formulaic now. Interesting. Okay, let's try out this slingshot. Oh shit. I lost it. Oh damn. Oh no. It's gone. Oh boy. It's like The Simpsons, there's only so much you can do when you're at season 36. Ooh. That's a lot of seasons. You know, sometimes I think there is some truth to the statement of, like, better to quit while you're ahead. Like, I think this much reminds me of, like, the series Supernatural that a lot of people talk about that went on for too long. And I mean, even Scrubs was another one where they came out with season 9 and it was just like, nah, you should have quit while you were ahead. And now fans just don't recognize season 9. And it was like, season what? No, there's only 8 seasons of Scrubs. Season 9 does not exist. Supernatural had a Scooby-Doo collab, its peak. Ooh, did it really? I did not know that. All I'll say, everything I did know about Supernatural was from friends talking about it. I was very much not the Supernatural fangirly. I guess I just couldn't really get into it, although I think they tried very hard to get me into it. It just didn't work, unfortunately. But I do like Scooby-Doo a lot, so... I have one more. I just need one more, so that's probably on the left side of the island, I think. I hope. Ooh! Sneaky. Oh! I don't want another gyroid. Wait, that's it. Oh no. Where's my 5th fossil? Honestly, I don't even need to collect the fossils at this point. I've already collected them all. But it still feels like something I should do. Where's my 5th fossil? Did I miss it? Maybe it's hidden back here somewhere. Here and here. Damn, I really am missing a fossil. My money tree! I forgot I planted one here. Money! The life of a money tree is a thankless one. Thank you, Money Tree, and also thank you, Money Tree, for leading to me, guiding me to my final fossil. Honestly, I don't even really need to assess them because I have them all. However... Oh yeah, I gotta sell that gyroid. I don't even want it to stay in my inventory for more than a couple minutes. Ugh. Snake, why are you thinking? I'm not getting the gains I want with my weight training, bunny. Maybe I could stop by your place for some inspiration. No. Oh good, I understand. I'm just glad the idea's out there now, bunny yip. Sorry, you can't use my place for it. I don't want to go home yet. I got a gyroid I gotta get rid of. There we go. You need to assess them to sell them good like. Yeah, I do need to actually sell all the... Wait, I think I did sell all the ones in my inventory. In my storage? Because originally I was saving them in there so that I could put them here for our little museum artifact. But we basically have it all. Like, we got... What, maybe we need like one more here or something? I don't know. I don't actually know what to do with the entrance. But like basically the museum's fully decorated now. We don't really need anything else. Oh wait, oops. Yeah, I don't have anything. Wait, I forgot. I need to click something else! There we go. I'm good. Thank you. Okay, what do we got? We got T-Rex tail, Spino tail, T-Rex skull, Spino skull. Wow. We really just got T-Rex and Spino and that's it. Actually, you know what? Let's use our shortcut and then grab all the museum artifacts I have in my storage and sell them all at once. Oh wait, hold on. What do we got at the Able Sisters? Ooh! I see some nice stuff in the back. Okay, I wonder if it'll be in here. That blue outfit in the... Ooh! A Chesterfield coat. Wait, hold on. Oh my god! This is that Korean guy look. Okay. Listen. Korean guys love wearing this like oversized coat. Oh wait, no, this one even looks a little... Well, no. No, you gotta have the Chesterfield. Okay, they love doing the like... the white collared shirt as a base. And then they layer a sweater on top. Then they pop the collar. And then they'll go get a long canvas coat. Like canvas material, I think is the best way I can explain it. Usually it's a solid color. And also usually doesn't have many buttons. Maybe like max 2 or 3. And they usually only button the first one if they want to, or they just leave it open if they want to keep it more casual. This is that typical K-pop. Well, not K-pop. I'll say it's like very common fashion for a Korean guy to wear. Like if you watch what Korean guys wear in like K-dramas and stuff, this is it. This is it. Usually it's only in the dark colors too. I think I only see them in like black or like a dark gray or like a dark brown, but never anything really bright like these. It's usually just this color. Damn. That was a Korean outfit style jump scare. Honestly, they also do wear it like this too, so I mean... Also, hey, if you want to spot Fira somewhere in Toronto, she'd be wearing the jacket she's wearing right now. Not the pea coat, but the one that she's wearing right now. Because I have that coat, and I do in fact wear it. Oh yeah, this is the one I was looking at. The Attis robe. It looks so cool. The red and yellow gives like Chinese New Year vibes. This one's giving king vibes. Twitch recommendations getting a bit too local. Are you from Toronto too? Congratulations, you have stumbled upon the Canadian who's in Toronto. If this was TikTok, this was specifically selected for you. You know, I think this matches her hat better, or her coat better. Ooh, should I have her wear boots? I'm one of the rare. I don't know if I could say you're rare. I don't think you're quite rare. Typically, there is more Americans than Canadians. This one's good though. Now that's what we call a accidental mistake right there. A slip of the tongue or keystroke, I guess. I don't even know if that's like autocorrect doing something to you, but damn, bro. Damn. Wait, you're not even the only duck though. We had another duck. Do you remember when we had another person who was also a duck? I don't know what kind of duck they were though. But we did have another duck. Oh yeah, D and F. Oh. You know, there are too many words that could be created from the letters around the letter D. Many sus words. You were doomed to fail with the letters around. Okay, we have so many. We're gonna be rich. Okay, you know, I will say maybe the Archelon could be worth displaying, actually, because that's pretty cool. So I'll keep that one. Every time they say Diplo, I think of the DJ and not the dinosaur. Like, oh my god, you mean Diplo, the one who DJ'd for Coachella? Or whatever that other EDM festival is? Do you think he did that on purpose? That he picked Diplo? Because he's like, bro, I love dinosaurs. Let me go see what dinosaur name I can be. And he's like, oh, Diplo. You know what? Diplos are pretty cool dinos. I'm gonna become Diplo. But I'll be a DJ instead. Which really means that there's an opportunity for Diplo to have a concert where he performs for Diplos. Wow, so much money! And more to go! Honestly, at this point, I shouldn't be worried at the shit that costs a lot in Animal Crossing because I have so much money. But more money could always be a good thing. In Animal Crossing, not IRL. Wait, is this how I become part of the 1%? Is because I become it because I have a lot of money in Animal Crossing? Is this how it starts? Oh god. I gotta be careful. Otherwise, I'm gonna start speaking and thinking like the 1%. And I'll be like, more. I want more money. Not enough to... Whatever I have is not enough. I need more. And more. And more! Imagine if... Well, I mean, technically Animal Crossing does have stocks. They just have it in the form of their onion... No, turnips. I just haven't had the patience to track it. But if I did... Oh, the spreadsheets. So many spreadsheets I would make. Just for the turnips. Actually, let's see. Maybe we should get that chair. It is sure an intriguing chair. You can make a really modernistic home with that. Egg chair! Yes. Very cute egg chair. I'd have to figure out where to put it though. I don't think there's anywhere in my house that like it fits perfectly. It's like one of those chairs where it's like you sit on it if like as if you're a villain. You sit on it and then you stroke your cat. Mr. Evil from Johnny English type shit. Yeah, exactly. This is not looking very Christmas, though, by the way. I'm still looking to find a tree that I can buy. Okay, now we go fishing. I think we should talk to the guy first. I believe he usually gives you a fishing challenge. Flick! Where are you at, buddy? Oh no, CJ, sorry, not Flick. Got a sea sports challenge? Oh, just catch 5 fish in a row? That's not too hard, I don't think. Let's try something medium sized. Oh, here. Oh, that might be too close. Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh my god. Thank you, Stroop Dog, for the Prime sub. Welcome, welcome. You caught me trying to fish. I'm trying to find like a medium-sized fish, maybe. Nothing too crazy. Also, I haven't fished in a very long time, so I'm gonna be very out of practice. Okay, this size looks okay. Oh. Gotta be patient. Oh, there we go. I got a horse mackerel. So do I have to get 5 fish, or do I get horse mackerel again? Is there another fish here? No. Damn. While I try to do nightmare raids in Blue Protocol. Oh my goodness. Good luck! And also good luck to me trying to find a horse mackerel again, or any fish at this point. They just want 5 in a row? Oh, you're an annihilator. Thank you for the sip and stretch. I will do the stretch first. Ugh. Big stretch. And also a sip. Barley tea. And apparently very good for you because it's got a lot of fiber in it. Oh, there's a fish right there. Oh. Yay! Got a fish. Black base. That's okay. So any fish is fine then. Oh. Oh. Okay. Let me go buy another fishing rod. Damn, that was only 2 fish. It lasted all of 2 fish. I'm on a countdown, you know. I'm on a timer. Oh yeah, okay, fishing rod. We'll do a colorful fishing rod. Oh, it's got a duck on it! On the end! That's so cute! Oh, I can't wait. That's so adorable. Is that gonna attract the fish, though? Oh, here's one. Look at that! The duck! Oh my god. That's so cute! I got an anchovy! Thinking about how anchovies... Ah, I got ideas for some recipes. I did? We did? Oh my god. Oh, okay. I didn't know that's how you get recipes for fish. Fascinating. Oh, here's a big one. Ooh. Ooh. Come on, buddy. What is it? Sea bass. Okay, one more. I just need one more fish. Got one right here. One. We got a bluegill. I completed the challenge. But also, when it says yes, that means you need to donate it, right, to the museum? I gotta donate the first one. Let me see if this works. I believe if you get the announcement yes first, then it's the first one you've caught. Let me see if I can donate it. Yeah, I was right. So if the message says yes, and then it gives you the typical spiel, that means it's the first one that you haven't donated yet. Which means that we need to catch another fish. We need to catch one that we haven't caught before. Here. Oh, yeah. Oh, damn. I got spooked. Oh the fish doesn't see it. Ooh, okay. Wait, there we go. Anchovy or horse mackerel? I wonder if CJ's gonna be mad. Because now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think I need to catch another unique one. Or maybe CJ will be forgiving. But just to be safe, let's go along the river. Oh, we got one here. Woohoo! Crucian carp. Okay, cool. Now we can give this one to CJ. Buddy, where are you? Oh my god, the photos. He's such an influencer. Yeah, you can spy him. That's not a lot, but okay. Give me another one. Oh. Find my fish. Aren't there collectibles? Nah, I'm good. So I guess I'll just fish a lot. Ooh, this is gonna be hard to get its attention if it's so close in the corner. I need to turn around. Oh, there we go. Oh, pond smelt. I need to give it another fish, or give it to the museum rather. Oh yeah, by the way, the rink near me has opened up, which is exciting. I just need to get skates somehow. Rent them, probably? Either way, I'm excited. Oh! Okay, let me see if I can get this one over at a corner. Is it gonna notice my thing? Girl, I don't think you tossed anything out. Right? She didn't like toss anything out. What did she toss? Oh. Yes. Caught a black bass. Black bass? The most metal of all fish. What do you think you would hear if you really were a fish whisperer? Oh no, fish, come back. Come on, fishy. Yes, notice my little duck. I taunt you with the cuteness. And then I reel you in with the deliciousness. Although I will say, I heard that if you like run across the sand, you scare the fish away. I don't know how true that is, but... Ooh. Come on. Ooh, red snapper. I knew that one before they even told me. Red snapper is delicious. Oh, snap! Got a red snapper. Ooh. Horse mackerel. Come on, fishies, where are you at? I'm specifically trying to see if we can get like the big fish. Oh, thank you for the follow, Pumpkin! And please have a good rest of your evening. Thank you for dropping by. You are correct. It is in fact midnight. I should be sleeping soon. And yet, excuse me, the allure of fishing draws me in. I'm not ready to give in my fish yet. I still need to donate the one I caught new to the museum. Oh, that one was fast. Wait, is this the same one? Come on, fishy. Come on, fishy. Focus on this area now. Don't swim around the corner. Come look at my duck. Yes. Pond smelt. Whoever smelt it, dealt it. Ooh, we got another one right here. I might be too close though. Yeah, I'm too close. Oh. Ooh, there we go. Come on, go for it. Go for the bait. Yes! Another pond smelt? Yep. Damn, that's a lot of pond smelt. Come on, give me them fish. Give me them fishies. Oh yeah, there is one right there. Okay. Does it see it? Does it see it? No? Nope. Oh, there we go. Come on, come on. Yes! Got a flounder. That's a big one. That's a biggie. I think that should net me quite a bit of money. And it didn't give me the word yes, which means I've caught it already, which means I can sell it. Oh, that's way too far. There. Come on. Anchovy! Okay, what else can we get? Ooh, we got one here. Oh, that is not close at all. Here, maybe? Oh, yes. They see it. Oh, you're fast. Horse mackerel. It's always the ones that bite immediately that catch me off guard. Because I'm not ready for it. Ooh. Got another anchovy. Let's just get a couple more on this side. Come on. Bite. Ah, shit! Reflexes reacted before I could think about it. Okay. Okay, let's go donate the one that I got first. And then we will probably end off the stream. Unless I see another fish. What do you know? I see another fish. Oh, we got a baby one. Pale chub. Cute. Oh, there's one here. Oh, that's way too far. Nope. Nope. How do I even get him? Oh, it didn't notice it saw it. Oh, fuck. Okay. Can I go over the wall? Oh, no, I can't. Okay. So I think it was the pond smelt that I fished for the first time. Wake up! Wake up! Okay, donate. Pond smelt, yeah. Nah, I'm okay. Jolly good. I like how you can literally hear him say jolly good. Like you hear the j word and the good and the d word. And then your brain just kind of automatically goes jolly good, and you immediately you hear jolly good, and I'm like, it's so close. How'd they get it so accurate? Okay, buddy. I got fish for you. Please buy my fish. What are you gonna give me for it? Not bad. I was hoping for more. This is why I prefer pumpkins. Pumpkins definitely, and other vegetables definitely net you more money. Okay. We'll end it here for now. While it saves. Alrighty. Shall we find someone to raid? Once you have blue roses, that'll be the money. Wait, really? How many do they sell for? I didn't know you could sell the roses. Well, I mean, I figure you could sell. I didn't think it would sell for a lot, is what I mean. 1,000 each every 3 days. Holy shit. Is that why it's so hard to breed them? That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, no one I know is streaming right now. Okay. Then we are gonna raid the cats. The kitty cats. The sheltered cats in Japan. There we go. Once you have 2 blue roses, you can make tons of them. I will have a blue rose garden in my Animal Crossing island, and then I will use it to make a lot of money. Yippee! There's the raid message if you want to use it. Oh yeah, so I guess we'll do AI Somnium Files this week, huh? Because we did Minecraft last week. Oh yeah, today's the first day of that, what is it called? The Kowloon Island? No, not island. The buildings. That one guy who made the Kowloon, condensed buildings thing. That server has opened, and I am in that Discord, so I will be in it. At one point. One day. I don't know when. Maybe sometime this week. And we'll build something. I'll build something. Maybe. We'll see. The Walled City. That's it. The Kowloon Wall City. That's famous for the cyberpunk-ish thing. Yeah. Okay, I'll see y'all guys on Wednesday. Bye-bye!